You just found out you're dying of cancer. What are you doing in your final days? As a single dad with 2 kids, my biggest fear wasn't death itself. It was leaving my 8 and 11-year-old boys alone after they'd already lost their mom 2 years ago. Unfortunately, my cancer had spread everywhere, and my only shot at survival was an experimental treatment that required being in a medically induced coma for months. Even then, I had maybe a 1% chance of waking up. Everyone had already accepted I wasn't coming back, funeral planned, headstone selected, and my sister-in-law ready to take care of my children. The night before surgery, I asked my best friend Logan to come over for one last beer. We'd been brothers since college. He was the godfather to both my children. We talked about old times, laughed about stupid things we'd done, until I asked him for the biggest favor of my life. I told him I needed someone to be there for my boys, not just handle money or logistics, but really be there. Be the father figure they'd need. He looked me straight in the eyes and gave me his word. Said those boys were his too. Every game, every milestone, teaching them to shave, to drive, to be good men. He'd be there for all of it. That promise between us was sacred. That was all I needed to hear. My sister-in-law had a good heart, but had never managed money. So I gave Logan $600,000, my entire life savings, to handle everything. Pay her monthly, cover the boys' expenses, make sure they never went without. I went under trusting him completely, believing my boys would have everything they needed while I was gone. 6 months later, I woke up. The doctors called it a miracle, said the treatment worked better than anyone expected. I was weak, confused, but alive. When I asked about my boys, the nurses said they were fine, that my sister-in-law had been taking great care of them. But when I finally got home, the truth hit me like a sledgehammer. My sister-in-law broke down crying. She'd only received the first 2 months of payments, then nothing. She'd been paying for groceries, school supplies, everything out of her own pocket. My 11-year-old had been walking his brother to school every morning because she couldn't afford to miss work. They'd been eating pasta and sandwiches for months. I called Logan immediately. He didn't answer. I checked the account. Of the $600,000, only $50,000 remained. The rest was gone. New truck in his driveway, vacation photos on social media, boat at the marina. While my boys were eating ramen, he was living his best life with their money. When I finally confronted him, he cried, said he thought I was never coming back, said he was grieving, depressed, not thinking straight, as if grief justified stealing from 2 of my children. My sister-in-law stepped up without question, refused any back payment when I offered. But the betrayal from someone I called brother, someone I trusted with my children's future, that cut deeper than any cancer ever could. I spent the next 3 years rebuilding everything, worked myself to the bone despite my weakened body, just to leave my boys something, but the cancer came back hungry. This time there's no experimental treatment, no miracles. I'm back in a hospital bed, down to 85 pounds, organs failing. The doctors say I have weeks at most. Yesterday, Logan came to visit me. He sat beside my bed and said he wanted to talk about what happened, said he felt bad about it, said he was sorry. I told him okay, I don't forgive you. He blinked, repeated that he was sorry. I said yeah, and I do not forgive you. He said I didn't understand that this could be the last time we talk. I cut him off, told him no, I'm not giving him closure. He doesn't get that. He has to live with the shitty thing he did for the rest of his life. He has to know that it's never, ever going to be okay. He insisted we'd both feel better if we just talked about it. I told him I'm dying, I'm not going to feel better, and I'm not going to be his prop so he can feel better. He promised that he was going to pay it all back, that he just needed time. I told him I don't care about the money. We managed, but I was supposed to be dead. I had no way to check if he kept his word, no way to protect him. That's why I needed someone I could trust completely, and he broke that trust when I was helpless to do anything about it. When keeping that promise was literally the last thing I ever asked of him, and I will never forgive him for that. I ended up telling him to get the fuck out of my room.